What's going on, folks? Hey, it's your boy Ryan Loede, aka The Machine, here with my man Hershell Hudson.
What's going on?
Good to see you, brother. I know it's been a little while since we've seen each other.
Too long.
We're both very busy, very productive. So, just so my audience knows, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're currently doing, what business you're in.
Yeah, so I've been in home improvement for a while. I own a water softener company over here in Florida, and we also do solar. And then that is my main business.
Dude, how long have you been doing that? I know it's been a little while.
8 years now.
Yeah. It's funny because you see a lot of people, they jump into something and then they don't get results and then they jump into something else. It's what I call like the grasshopper syndrome. They always go where the grass looks greener, whereas like you, I've seen you just like stick and stay. And you're like 100% committed. Like, why is that?
Well, I'll definitely flirt whenever somebody gets oh man, this makes all this money. And then so far, anytime, it's always just been a massive distraction. I start to lose what traction and progress I'm already getting with my first business, and it just never works. In fact, I would definitely not do solar whatsoever if it wasn't for the fact that the water customers are the same customer base as the solar customers. And so I just try to reuse what I already have with that.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Otherwise, it'd be, oh, this is different. I'm not interested.
Yeah. But it's, like I said, it's funny because you've never really like diverted into like different industries. Like it's either been water or solar. Like what kind of attracted you to staying within this industry? What is it? Is it the money? You like the product? What? Because a lot of people, man, it's for the money, right?
Right.
And a lot of people, they do something and they're not really like passionate about it.
Well, I guess it's like my actual, like what I know how to do. So it's like where I used to be so naive as to think if some man is doing something and being successful at it, then of course I can do that too. I now know that if I'm going to do that, then I have to make the same sacrifices and learn the same things that he did. So I'm assuming there's no magic pill. And when I listen to people like Grant Cardone, all they sit there and tell me is that there is no easy way out, and you shouldn't you're not going to find something easier, just get it better.
Wow. What are some ways that, I know you're big into personal development, studying, personally developing yourself. What are some of the things that you have done that really help you like continue to level up and continue to develop yourself?
Well, if I'm in a car, instead of listening to music, I listen to audiobooks, right? And so whenever I meet other people like you, I meet somebody that's already read all the same books as me.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you talk to somebody average, you're like, hey man, you should read Be Obsessed or Be Average. You're going to be more like, yeah, that was a great one. You should check this one out instead of sitting there thinking that I know everything. And then the biggest thing is, not necessarily what I'm trying to do to personally develop, what I'm trying to do to like stop myself from undeveloping. Which is listening to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
Wow.
Because if I have a friend and I like them and I'm listening to them, I'm going to listen to what they say, and sometimes that's the most dangerous thing I can be doing.
Wow.
A lot of people have quit in their heart. So every time I have somebody that's not, so I met somebody who's doing a lot bigger than me in the water business, that's maybe a block away from my house. And when he broke down his numbers and the offers that have been made to him to buy his business already, all of a sudden my eyes opened up. I'm like, oh, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. I am doing this for a reason. But anybody who doesn't have, and when I ask him about my business, he's amazed that I'm doing what I'm doing. He's like, man, you're on track. Like, I've been in this for 20 years. He's like, of course, I'm where I am now. He's like, and I've only actually been in business he's only been in business for himself for about 5 years, which is about how long I've been in business for myself. But the difference is he had a lot of, he already had 15, 20 years experience as a manager in doing this in the industry, where I only had like 4 or 5 years. So where he's got his business and where the actual profitability is, you wouldn't believe it unless you're actually in the business, how small but also big it really can be. And so it's like, I listen to him and it's great, but if I talk to any of my friends that don't own a business, it's like, dude, why are you doing it? You should quit and go work for somebody else.
Man. And that's a big thing because, as we all know, who you surround yourself with matters, right? And we're the composite of the individuals we surround ourselves with. So how does an individual that's maybe just getting started in sales, or maybe they've been in sales for a while and they don't want to, like you said, undevelop themselves, how do they you know, not necessarily manage, but how do they like control who they surround themselves with? Because there's going to be the naysayers, the unsolicited advice givers, the suppressive individuals, the antagonistic individuals. Like how does an individual handle or control those type of people?
So in my opinion, it's just getting more and more unavailable. Like, you know, you saw me on Facebook. I've deleted all of the social media apps. If I access one, it's very money specific purpose, and it's only on my laptop. So that way I can get out of that confusion and, like, you know, I've started putting my phone on do not disturb, letting people not get access to me to where they're going to distract me with their thoughts, especially if it's somebody that you really like and that you've known for a really long time, and that you feel like, you know, you want to have this relationship, you know, like there's people, like, for example, with my family, like, I love my sisters. Now, they're not really into entrepreneurship whatsoever. So for a long time, we just didn't talk. And now, later on in life, you know, that was a goal of mine, is to repair those relationships and, you know, make it what it's really supposed to be about. But at the same time, I can't be listening to anybody discouraging me, because I don't need any help doubting myself.
Yeah. Dude, because we already sometimes, as entrepreneurs, we already like sometimes doubt ourselves. So getting that like extra added layer of doubt from other people, like it could be the ultimate cause of failure. Right.
Well, they started stealing that imposter syndrome into you too, and then, like, especially if they know about things you tried that didn't work out, or, like, you know, they want to pull up your failures as reasons to further their case that you're nobody, and you're just like them, and you need to stop dreaming. And it just doesn't make any sense to me on why you would want to think or live like that. But that's how, like, most average people operate. So. But the thing is the above average people, I mean, we don't have time for each other, right? It's not a bunch of, like, time to be hanging out and, like, everything else. So I liked Alex Becker, the founder of High Roast. When I was listening to him, he's like, I don't know who he was quoting, but he's like, you're either going to make sacrifices, like these relationships and things you want to have, or the things you really want are going to become the sacrifice.
Ooh, wow. A lot of people don't believe in sacrifices.
No, I want to have it all.
Yeah.
But I have really nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's key, man. I like that part that you said, you know, you have to stop yourself from undeveloping yourself.
Right.
It's huge, and I've recently have seen that in my life, you know, within the last few years, because I got off to like such a great start in my insurance career, like just such a fast start, like a lot of income created, a lot of revenue created. And sometimes you get a lot of success, and sometimes you start to think like you've already made it, right? Right. And it's important to surround yourself with those right individuals who are going to tell you the truth. Like, dude, you haven't done anything.
Right.
You're like, dude, who do you think you are? Like, you have not done anything. Like, you're so much more capable of so much more. Like, you haven't even tapped into your potential.
Right.
So where do you go, or where do these other individuals that might be watching, how do you find those individuals? Like, they're so tough to find other individuals with that mindset, like you and I.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And even though you know, I'm not as in love with the platform and its ideas and everything, I mean, that's where I found, like, most of everybody that I meet now is just on, like, Facebook from your friends list, because you basically start seeing these mutual friends of other entrepreneurs that are all thinking the same way. And then these are most of the people that I've met throughout the years that, like, are actually successful. The people that got me away from, like, the ones that are not from my hometown and, you know, random people that don't mean anything, the ones that are really successful and really doing it, all seem to be from Facebook or the internet, right? Because I'm watching what they're doing because they're out there getting known, and then that's what I'm doing, and we all seem to think and know the same sort of people. And it's just like, you know, I mean, there's only so many of us. Right?
Yep, and that's the toughest thing, is like finding those like-minded individuals.
Right.
And that's why me personally, I'm always going out, trying to make new connections, new relationships. Right. So as we know, collaboration's the new currency. Right? And it's not who we know, but who knows us.
100%.
Yeah. So getting known, breaking out of obscurity, being omnipresent, it's one of the things that I'm constantly striving for on a day-to-day basis, like just pushing out content after content after content.
See it.
Every day, man, every day. Dude, it's cool. So what tell us a little bit about your business. What are you looking to accomplish? what have you accomplished before, and where are you headed right now?
Yeah, so I mean, we sell water softeners. The biggest thing was cracking the code on marketing, because when I got into water softener sales, I'd always been a hand-fed closer, right? So I had a really high closing percentage. I'm really great at closing the deal, but I don't know how to really generate leads or appointments for myself at scale. That was like the first thing to like crack. And then after that, then it's all these other jobs that I didn't realize I signed up for by taking on all this responsibility. I'm like, oh my God, I'm accounting, I'm the debt collection, I'm every single department now. And so it's been really, really great, because for a while it's been like kind of almost stuck, but I've just been learning all the lessons. You know, Alex Becker says, he's like, you know, on your, you know, you're making 100 to $1 million a year. He's like, in that little transition period, he's like, this is like getting your blue belt in jiu-jitsu. He's like, you don't get to get it until you put in the work and you've like gotten the experience to excel to the next level. Which then obviously is now you're trying to build organizations just for the purpose of valuation to sell.
Yeah.
So that's my big goal with the Gold Coast, is to get it a lot more automated, or for my water company, to get it a lot more automated and to scale it and get rid of it, you know, and sell it and do the same sort of things over and over again. That's what I really enjoy doing.
Now let's talk about that. I heard you brought up a very, very interesting point, that a lot of individuals that want to be entrepreneurs or build a business, build an organization, they want to hire people. They don't understand like how much goes into it and how much you're going to have to control that first, because I'm seeing it as I continue to grow my organization, LC Finance Group. Like, I'm literally like the hat of every organization, right? Whether it's like accounting, like you said, commissions, marketing leads, our careers team, whatever it might be. It's funny because you don't understand, like, you're gonna have all these other responsibilities. People are like, oh, I want to build an organization, I want to get people, I want to have employees.
Make all the money.
Right. I want to be the owner. You know, like, what have you ran into, and if you would have known what you would have ran into, what would you have done like prior to actually like hiring people and building a team?
Definitely, if I would have known what I was getting myself into, I would have simply stayed a salesman and continued to make, you know, $250,000 a year working part-time, and I would have never done it. But then I got in, you know, where I'm like, okay, this exists now. Like, I have to run this. And so what I really started to realize is that when it comes to people and scaling, the hats that I don't know that I'm wearing are the ones that make me the most angry. You know, 'cause I just want to go make more money.
Yeah.
And then everybody else, and I get people say, you know, you got to hire people smarter than you, and you got to hire people that can do. Okay, so far nobody that comes in seems to be able to do any job I ask them to do better than me, and that's totally fine. If they can do half it as good as me, then we could probably make something happen. The issue is getting them to that point, and like my own ego getting in my way of not realizing, you know, like their life, and like, who am I? Why would they even want to work for me? You know, this isn't a privilege for them to come here. You know, it was an option for them that they chose to take because they, you know, trusted whatever I told them. And so now I have a lot more responsibility on like that. It's my responsibility to deliver the opportunity that I claimed it was to these people, and then I can start where, you know, before it's like I don't really know if them not working out is my fault or their fault, and now I know 100% it's definitely my fault.
Yep.
You know, every single time. And so, and then if they don't work out for whatever reason, you know, what could I have done differently to make people more successful in their position? And it's really unfair to them. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like, that just started a business, is they expect everybody to come in and be independent thinkers that understand what it takes to make money here. And they don't even, the people don't even know what this place is. There's not even an employee manual to tell them about it. But now it's like, okay, you built all the courses and you got this all set up for the training. Now you can finally put it back on the rep. Where it's like, if he won't do his homework and he wants me to try and learn for him, like, so for our demonstration, one of the biggest issues I have with new reps is they want me personally to watch them do a demonstration over and over again, and I've seen enough of them. You know, I don't need to know. I didn't get good because by practicing, and definitely when it's time to perform to get in there, but I practiced before I got to the plane. You know, I'm like, dude, you need to get in front of a mirror. you need to be set. I was like, you want to do it? I was like, you know what would be a lot better than me watching you? You need to set up a video camera and you watch you. I was like, that was what I was doing whenever I was struggling. When I first started in sales, I mean, I remember I was just doing terrible and making no money. I'd get lucky and stumble across the deal every now and then. But I'd go up to the other sales guys and be like, what do you guys think I need to do? They're like, look, man, I don't know how to tell you this, Hershell, but some people got it, some people don't. You don't got it, okay? Maybe you should go back to installing these, give up. Why don't you quit? And then I just didn't listen to them, and I listened to my boss, and I kept rehearsing and practicing and reading the script everybody said I was wasting time with. And then a year later, these same people that were telling me I should quit, I'm their boss now, and now I'm checking them in on what they're doing for their work. So it was like, okay, thank God I didn't listen to them. And it's like you were saying with the undeveloped. If I would have listened to them, then I definitely wouldn't be sitting next to the Ryan Loede today.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. Dude, it's I like how you put an ethical standpoint on like your people's success or failure is due to you, right? Right. And as a leader and as an executive or an owner of an organization, like if your people succeed or fail, like it's completely at cause of you, right? And it's our responsibility to set them up for success, right? And it's big, man. What are some like challenges that you went through when you first started to get into sales? You said about 8 years ago. What are some challenges you went through? And man, like how much of a difference would it have made if you knew about these challenges before you got into sales?
Man, it's a really great question. The biggest challenge I had is I just don't know what I look like, right? I really didn't know what I do that I irritate other people. I didn't know that this is annoying. Like what it is that I'm doing is just aggravating everybody else. And even though I'm like a talker and everybody says, oh, you're a natural salesperson, I learned I'm the farthest thing from a natural salesperson, and that sales is a language that only certain people will ever really learn to speak, and it's to be able to ask questions. And if you can't get them to tell you why it's a good idea, they're never going to believe anything you say. Because right, we have hierarchy of belief. There's what the customer says, there's what their family says, and their spouses, and then there's like what thieves, liars, and murderers say, and then somewhere way down here is salespeople, right? So we already know they don't trust us, and that's not their fault. They're just watching their own back. So like my ability to deliver the information to actually get them to do it, and realizing that it's not about them liking me, it's about them understanding what I'm telling them. Like Grant says, it's never a no. It's a I don't know, K-N-O-W. You don't know enough about the product to make a decision with you. So the easiest decision is no decision, which is usually a no. Is what I found in sales. And I feel like if I would have realized that quicker, that I could have made the 1 year journey of transferring into a closer probably closer to 3 months. And maybe made some more money during that time. But thankfully I didn't quit, but I could definitely see during those times why everyone else does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
many people just don't stick in it long enough. Like you were talking about earlier, many people just don't stick in there long enough, and they don't understand that sales it's just not easy. It's not easy. It could be easy, but sometimes we make it difficult for ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We're the barrier between the product and the customer, right? Like we are the issue and the solution.
Right.
And so it's always my fault that they didn't get my product. I already had mapped out before I got to their house, and this was an amazing deal. There was nothing that they could tell me that's new information in this home that's going to point me in the idea that this isn't an amazing deal for them and a great deal that anybody should have, and always that the benefits outweigh the cons of my product. But trying to get them to understand that is all about them, and I gotta stop thinking about me, because I want the money. I obviously want them to buy it, but I really gotta think about why they need it, and I need to really present that to them so they can make their own informed decision to purchase and not feel that they were misled or pressured into making a decision they don't want, but to where they're so closed that whenever somebody tells them that they paid half as much for the same thing, they fire back with all of the benefits that I've told them and defend their purchase and are more than happy that they paid twice as much, knowing they got a better quality product, service, and company to go with.
Wow. That's strong. That's very strong. Having, you know, what I got from that is like just being 100% convicted in your product and knowing that it's like the best solution for the customer.
Right.
And knowing that before you even go into it.
It'd be criminal to let them go with someone else. It'd be wrong. I know what they're going to do to them. I'm not going to care about them like me.
Oh man, that's wow. That's very big, man. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Maybe 10 years. Where do you see yourself?
That's a super great question. I guess I need to go write it down a little bit more. I haven't looked as far out at that.
You know, as I've learned, is that if you don't know where you're going, you're going to have an even tougher time of getting there.
That's a good question.
Right?
You know, should I just admit it? I just want to be filthy.
Absolutely. Now, how important is it to have like a strategic plan, or like to have the steps and the targets and the goals to getting to where you want to be? Like, I mean, from a 1 to a 10, like
100%.
Yeah.
I have like my fantastic goals that I write of what I want in like exact 10 years. But I haven't planned it as much. I've been doing like the Damon John, where he says like every 6 months, like he has like his daily goals, his weekly goals, everything else we write in our normal planners. And then there's every 6 months he restructures his goals based on the amount of progress he actually accomplished. So now he's got like what did I actually get? Like, I know I had these goals. I know I wanted to hit this. What did I actually get done? And now that I've done that, what's actually possible? And he figures that changes about every 6 months.
wow.
For him, you know. And so that's what I've been kind of doing, is like, what do I want for the next 6 months? And so that my little goals will add up to my ultimate goal. Of, to put it super simply, I'd love to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Say it again, man.
I want to be a billionaire. You hear me?
Oh, man, that's strong. That's strong. So, do you think what's more important, sales or marketing? I'm sure you've heard this question before.
Man, it's a really great point. Without marketing, we got nowhere to go. Without sales, we got nobody that can close, right?
Yeah.
So a bunch of leads don't really matter if nobody can go to them. I definitely say marketing is the most important, because that's where most people struggle. But like, as far as like if you're talking about an organization, if you're talking about an individual level of person, you need to get your closing ability down, because that's only going to make you a better marketer. Like, unfortunately, I'm not only the best closer at my company, I'm also the best appointment setter, right? So I usually get more leads per hour than anybody else can get on the phone, and I usually have to use that as the standard for what's even possible when we start making calls. You know what I mean? So as far as closing goes, it's something that nobody really studies, nobody ever really learns, like how you actually identify and isolate an objection down to money, right? If your product was free, they'd get it tomorrow, usually, whatever the product is. So obviously the main barrier is not that they need a few weeks to think about it, it's the money. So you got to get them to tell you that. If you tell them the money, it's going to say, no, this is a great price, it's excellent, we just need some time to think it over. Because the number one objection, like Grant Cardone says, it's going to stop a deal, is the unspoken objection. Whatever the customer's not telling you. So if you can get really, really great at closing, then you should be able to become an amazing marketer. The only issue with the closers is if they're like me, where they're hand-fed leads, it makes them really lazy whenever it comes to actually putting an effort into prospecting, even if they should. You know, just because you're the greatest door knocker doesn't mean you're actually going to get out of your car and go knock doors.
Right. So how do you get up every day? Like, what's driving you? What are some things that drives Hershell Hudson on
Well, I got
basis?
the best wife in the whole world.
There we go.
Who outworks me at every turn, so I'm just trying to beat her. You
Yeah.
know? And she just is just incredibly motivating and just super sweet. And I'm not gonna get beat by my wife for being a hard worker. This just isn't right.
Yeah.
That's probably been a super big helpful thing for me.
There we go.
Me and my wife are both seriously on the industrious type side of things.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome, bro.
She's from China, so obviously, to them, like she makes, anything here is so much more money. So they're so much more motivated to try and make money and to work. And it's like she doesn't want to not. She can't not work. So she's trying to get her, business and everything else going and try to get better at hers. And so I feel motivated to do that. And then obviously my dreams are what keeps me up at night. There's a part of me that sometimes has, is so stressed out that doesn't want tomorrow to come because I know it comes with more problems. But the best days are when I'm just ready. wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody's up yet to bother me.
Yeah.
Nobody. Nobody's bothering. Even if they were awake, it is inappropriate to bother me right now. And so then I feel like I'm just going into the day just so prepared, and it just honestly makes everything else so much easier as opposed to waking up late.
From a scale of 1 to 10, how important it is to have that morning routine? 10 being the most important
10
one.
is the most important,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, I don't know exactly what the routine is, but I mean, just as long as the routine consists of knowing when you're waking up and when you're going to bed.
Those are the first steps, yeah.
Right. You gotta
Those
know
were
when you're
literally
going
the
to bed.
first steps.
Right. It's like, okay, if I got this much time. What I noticed too is if I get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I really count my hours during the day. Like whenever it's like 11, like I've been up for 5 hours so far. Like, okay, 1 o'clock, I've been up for 7 hours so far. So I'm really starting taking like really high account of like how much time, I'm losing. So many people say they don't have any time and they waste all of it. So many people say they don't have any money and they waste all of it.
Yep. Yeah, many people don't have time because they don't have money, right?
They don't value their time.
Yeah.
Right? The time's worthless. That's why they want, a few weeks to make a decision. They want to get 17 quotes. They've got all the time in the world. None of the money. Right? How they're going to spend their money is so much more important than how they spend their time.
Right. Wow. Boom. Man, are you hiring right now on your solar or water? Are you hiring?
Yeah, for sure. I'm always hiring people that already have experience in the water treatment industry. So people that have already done the job, know what it is, that want to go run appointments. Always looking for those people where they can just be fed appointments, and then the average person's going to make $2,000 to $5,000 a week if they're talented. Bad weeks usually $1,000, and that's how water usually goes. But at least they get paid every single week.
Yeah.
Solar's super cool. We mostly just do that in-house off of our already existing business. But as far as water people, always looking for great people that already know how to do it and know the job.
It's looking for closers, folks. Some
That's
closers.
it. Have you sold a water softener before? Great. You want to try it again? I guarantee you, if you've done it before and you want the job, I can make you successful.
What if they haven't sold water before?
Well, then,
Not really.
Yeah, I guess then they need to go, spend those 1 or 2 years with somebody else. You know what I mean? And then so much is so far right now. It's so much easier. Just the only reason I have been avoiding it with it is I don't want to sell the job to anybody anymore, because there might be a million reasons that have nothing to do with what I'm even thinking of on why this isn't for them. Maybe they don't like being in their car all day driving. Maybe they feel uncomfortable going to people's homes. Maybe they're unsure of it, and it's just gonna take more time. I'd rather have somebody that's tried to commit to the job before. Maybe they got into a disagreement with management, had some issue. Heck, they probably caused some problems that caused them to need to leave. So people show up here, respectful, and all they want is an appointment. It has just worked out so great for me because I can make them better. But I'll be honest, the number one reason my leads don't get sold is because they don't get ran. Sometimes all you got to do is just show up. I try to explain that to a guy you just met downstairs. He's like, man, what if I can't do it? I'm like, I'm telling you, people want these things. I was like, if 100 people told me they're a good salesperson, I believe one of them maybe. Right? Like most of them did not. How many books did you read on success last year? Well, I did. None of them spent any time studying, practicing, and actually treating this as a career. Right? So I know that. And I want to win with the people that are trying. I know I can make them better, but as long as they know at least what the job is, that's what their job is, it has made it so easy for those people to come in and just start winning right away.
There we go. Nice.
That's what I want to give them, I don't want them to go through a bunch of hardship. I don't want a bunch of poor people, because I want this to be a company, not a homeless shelter. You know what I mean? I want people making money.
There we go. Where could the viewers find you at? Where could they reach out to you?
GCWaterTreatment.com. So that is our website, GCWaterTreatment.com.
GC?
GC, Gulf Coast
Okay,
Hard Water
okay.
Management.
There we
Gulf
go.
Coast Hard Water Management is us over in here in Tampa area. So that's us. We do Orlando, Tampa, Sarasota is our main areas up to Brooksville. So anybody in the Central Florida area, it's super easy. I usually keep 1 or 2 people per county. So that way you can not have to drive so far. I used to drive 2 or 3 hours per appointment, but I was making $5,000 a week at the time when I was like 24, so I was super happy with it.
Yep.
That Ryan Loede money. But
So if you guys want to make $5,000 a week, this is your man to speak to, Mr. Hershell Hudson.
water treatment is a thing in it's not in every single community, right? It's got to be places where the water's bad, like here in Florida. If you sold water softeners before, that's where I've had the best luck. Is just someone that did it for 3 to 6 months, and I get it. Closing's hard. So, if it didn't work out, it's okay. It probably was you, but it probably also was them, right? Like, that's where I'm now. It's like, if I gave you all the resources, I still am trying to look at, like, how can I take responsibility for this and not put this back on somebody that I pitched this to. I'm the reason they're here, right? Like, they're the ones that came. I'm the one that said yes. They're the ones that said they want to work here. I'm the one that said yes. I'm the one that convinced them to do this and that I take care of them. It's my responsibility to make sure that they have the most success they can. And which is why I do it in a structured way. Like, if we had a guy that applied yesterday and it was like, hey man, I sold all this other stuff. His resume looked like he worked at 15 different places a year. He sold every home improvement product except water softener they could find. And like, he didn't sell water softeners. Unfortunately, man, I just don't have the energy, to put into you.
Yeah.
The good news is if somebody's done it, with the appointments, we only just run new homeowners. So like the last couple of guys that have showed up, usually that have started working here, usually the first appointment they get, they just go out and sell it. Mm-hmm. It's usually not until about 60 days in that they start to have that phenomenon, and then all of a sudden they're like, man, I feel like the leads changed. What changed is Hershell stopped calling these people and stopped bothering them and just gave them appointments and did not hold them accountable whatsoever on the results of those appointments, and naturally they decline as a salesperson, and I got to take responsibility for that as my fault.
Yep.
I got them out there trying to cut down trees with rusty axes.
So what you're saying is it's always the leader or the executive.
Got it.
It's always their responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
And like on you as an individual, you're your own leader. So you're your responsibility, right? So if you are, like, you can't, like, if I was in the employee position, I'm not going to blame the leadership, even though now that I'm in the leadership position, I 100% blame the leadership, right? But if I was the employee, then you need to take accountability for you because you can't change your leadership. They're going to have to change. So how can you win there yourself?
Wow. My man.
Dude.
Appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you more.
Dropping bombs. Go follow my guy, Hershell Hudson. You can find him on Instagram, Facebook. And if you guys are looking for a new opportunity, maybe not in the